Hey everybody, I'm here with the Epax X10. This is a big boy. Let's unwrap this build plate. Thanks to my wife for doing the unboxing. I'm wasting her big brain. She's a math whiz and a computer systems architect and an engineer from the best school in China. So I feel bad using her to unbox, but I figure you guys don't mind, right? And I wanted to get involved with the channel a little bit. Maybe one day if there's some deep math to do, she'll do it for me. So anyway, let's take a look at the build plate on this. Here's a standard build plate on the old Tech 5.5 inch. So you can see, you're talking from the old printers that we're used to using. This is like the same as I think the Saturn. It is effectively 4 build plates, maybe a tiny little bit less than that. So you got that nice size, which allows you to do terrain. I know people tell me they don't want to do their terrain in resin. I don't care, I'm doing it. I've shown some prints off my Phenom, which I'll show again here somewhere if the unboxing's done. Terrain comes out gorgeous on. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but stuff just looks so much better in resin. I know it's also a little less durable compared to PLA, but I don't care. I'm going all resin on all my stuff. That's just the way it is. That's me. Anyway, so nice, big, heavy. That's a heavy build plate. That's got to be a pound and a half. It's got the 4-screw leveling system, which you guys know is my favorite system. Oh, and everyone should run out and buy this machine. Wait, why am I saying that? Because included in the box was an Epax t-shirt. Okay, I like the people over at Epax. We didn't need your Epax t-shirt, sorry. So I was kidding about buying the machine because of that. The USB port, you can see, is on the right-hand side. It is close to the front, which is what I like. Easier to access the closer it is to the front. It has got Epax, you know, Epax is always built like a tank, and we're going to talk about this plastic cover. Epax built like a tank. This is a huge, solid, sturdy Z-axis. This is not going offline, that's for sure. This is seriously heavy duty. So Epax is always known for great construction. So I was actually a little bit surprised that, and I don't blame them for this. Look, let's go back to the history of Epax in terms of Epax. You know, I felt made the best machine of the last generation, the X1, and I've already tested out the X1K, their new 2K monoscreen, small screen, and their machines, like I've seen some people post online, hey, Epax just overpriced for the same thing you're getting from other people. And I'm not an Epax shill. I don't care you buy Epax or you don't. Like as always, I'm honest and independent. But I never like to see people slamming Epax for being overpriced because I think they use different components than everyone else. Aside from being all metal construction and having the best lid in the business that used to, you know, that opened up and you could have it against the wall and still open it up. Well, they also used a better light source from what I understand. Again, I don't dissect the machines, but they use a better, stronger light source. And even now, like my Epax X1K prints a little faster than my Frozen Sonic Mini 4K. I think because that's just a stronger light source. In this new machine, the one thing they did to compete on price, I guess to answer some of those critics, but let me talk about the critics more about price. That's like saying, you know, a Mercedes-Benz or a Rolls-Royce or Ferrari, whatever, is an overpriced car because it does the same thing as a Honda Civic and it costs more. Right? It's not a fair comparison. Something being more expensive doesn't mean overpriced. If you're getting actually a better machine with better components, it's not overpriced. It's just a different price range based on components. So, you know, don't get mad at me out there if you're one of those people who said Epax is overpriced. To me, that always sounded like a little bit of jealousy, like people who can't afford the Rolls-Royce say it's overpriced. Like, it was a better machine than the other ones. That's, you know, I think it's basically just a fact. So Epax, yes, is always more expensive, but they're always built better. That's my take on it. So, and again, I don't care if you'll buy Epax or not, so it doesn't matter to me. So while I'm bringing this up, it's interesting to see that Epax did something that they've never, as far as I know, never done before. They went with the cheap plastic cover to save money. And I can't remember what the price this one is. I'll float it in a box around my head so you can see. My guess is they're still going to be more expensive than the competitors of this size. Because again, and this time I admit, I talked to the developers at Epax because, and I told them people are price sensitive. And they assured me, and again, maybe some engineer, I know there's a guy out there named Vinicius Silva who likes to test light sources and stuff like that and uniformity of light. Maybe he'll be testing something like this. They told me they're using, again, a way better light source in their 8.9-inch machine than you're gonna get out of the frozen machine or the Anycubic machine. Now again, I'm not dissecting this machine and testing that light source. I'm just telling you what I was told. Do I believe it? I actually kind of do, just because, like I said, I've always felt their machines were higher quality than everyone else's and correspondingly more expensive. I'm not saying they're not more expensive. So even with cost cutting, in terms of going with this plastic, and by the way, I hate plastic lids. Everyone's using them now. You guys, if you watch my reviews, I way prefer the iron box that Epax does, but I guess a lot of people don't want to pay the extra $150 to $200 to get that solid iron box. I do, but that's just me. So anyway, they're obviously looking to compete more on price this time around, so they went with the plastic cover. And the vat is still, of course, metal. I'm interrupting myself to bring some breaking news. I talked to the manufacturers at Epax, and they told me something very interesting, that the vat that I have, although it's metal in mine, that the main production is going to have a very, very high quality plastic. They said it won't be like the frozen Sonic Mini plastic vat debacle. But the interesting thing about that, aside from being a cost saving measure, they said they're going to make that with their NFEP, which is a better version of what people use as the FEP. They're going to make that very cheap, like maybe only somewhere from like $30 to $35. So you can easily have multiple vats with different kinds of resins, different colored resins, whatever you want. You can just keep an extra vat around. I'll do this in case you have some kind of fail. While you're taking your vat out to clean it, you can just swap another vat in and keep printing. For someone like me, that's convenient. But the other interesting thing is, if the price of the vat with the NFEP installed is only slightly more than an FEP, instead of replacing my FEP when it goes bad, maybe I'll just toss the thing out and just stick in a new vat with a new FEP, and I don't even have to do the installation. Look, FEP installation I know is super easy. I do it all the time, but if for just a few dollars, like I skip one cheeseburger, although that pains me, but if I skip like one cheeseburger and I don't ever have to change an FEP and I can just swap it in, no time lost, no nothing, it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled review. So the light source is going to be key. Upcoming, I'm going to put a piece of paper over the light source and turn it on, try to show you the light source, because they told me there's almost no hot spots or gridding the way they did this light source. So we should test that out and see if that's true. And then, of course, blink of an eye in your time, I'll be back in a couple of days with test prints. It came with extra FEP. Of course, standard, everything else just standard, nothing to write home about. Build plate is the sloped build plate. I still would like to see Epax, I know you guys are gonna watch this review, I still would like to see slightly bigger height on this piece. I just like it further removed from the resin, so when I'm handling it, even with gloves, I still don't like getting resin even on my gloves, because then I have to make sure I don't touch anything else anyway. And I wouldn't mind seeing a taller piece here, and also, of course, the build plate's sloped, which is great, but I would like to see a higher angle on the slope. Just let the resin run off, because resin does move pretty nicely on its own. If you give it slightly higher angle, more resin will come off. So anyway, that's it for basically the intro on the machine. As always, for me, the most important part of my reviews is how does it print. So like I said, a couple days of testing with this thing, and I will be back, to complete the review. And hopefully it goes well. My experience with Epax has always been great. So looking at this plastic cover, which I don't like, but I understand the reasons for, I'm hoping that this machine is going to print as well as all my other Epaxes that I've had. So that's it. See you in a few minutes. So I've been testing the E10, which is 4K monoscreen printer. So much like when people start receiving their Elegoo Saturns, it'll be very similar in terms of the size and the resolution. So this machine gives you the same resolution you get now on a 2K small screen. So we know that's pretty excellent resolution in a larger size printer, which is of course very exciting for us to start getting these large size printers. And if you guys remember, a few months ago I made a video a bunch of people hated on me for, which was about the death of FDM for home hobby printing. We're one step closer to that, because what I decided to test out for my test print was a terrain piece from the Dragon's Rest, a gorgeous hilltop piece, which I'm gonna have high-res photos, of course, so you can see how it really came out. So we're getting really high resolution, like 2K screen resolution on a terrain piece that doesn't even come close to fitting on, you know, regular Epax E10 or Photon Mars, whatever you have, Cheedy or the Creality LD0006, was it? Anyway, all those small 5.5 inch screens. This is an 8.9 inch screen. So you can put stuff on it that you couldn't do before. Yes, you can still print minis and get 2K resolution out of it, which is excellent. But for me, if you don't have a printer and you just want one printer, obviously you get a bigger screen, allows you to print minis at pretty damn good resolution. And also, more exciting for me personally is to start being able to print terrain at a pretty high resolution. This piece, and you're gonna see the photos, this came out absolutely gorgeous. This is what I want out of my terrain. It's 100 times better than FDM. And you guys know I've dialed in Ender 3, I've dialed in Lotmax, which give me great results, don't get me wrong, but compared to resin, it's well, you know, if you've seen minis on resin compared to minis in FDM, well, terrain, it works the same. Terrain's a little better in FDM than the minis, I'll grant that, but this come out so nice in resin that this is what I was waiting for, when I could have all my terrain look like this. And it's hollowed. You can see I have drain holes in a couple different spots hidden away. It's hollowed. It didn't take that much resin. And a print like this, if I did this on FDM and I didn't put it in my slicer to check, maybe I should, maybe I'll do that. But at my normal, to get the best resolution I could off my FDM printers, I use 0.08. This would definitely take probably, I'll do it, but my guess is like 3 days. And instead, this was an 8-hour print on the E10, and it came out way. I mean, this thing, again, when you see the high-res photos, you'll see this thing come out gorgeous. I mean, I'm loving this for terrain. Put the little dude on top of it, looks great. So, I think a few things I should point out about the E10. Well, first of all, like I said, I'm still shocked that Epax went cheap in terms of not building the iron box. Like I said, they wanted to compete, I guess, with Anycubic and Elegoo and Frozen on the more budget type printer. This thing, I believe, and I'll double check, retailed I think for 519 bucks. So you get that Epax quality, yes, minus the iron box, and you have the plastic cover like everyone else. But their light source, and I'll float here, I tested the light by putting a piece of paper on it and then just running the full screen. So I could check for hot spots, cold spots, you know, gridding. You know, and the light source is nice and strong. I think the cure time was very low, as it should be on a monoscreen. But now that I have several different monoscreen printers, I'm discovering there is a difference in cure time between my monoscreen printers, which could basically only be because of the strength of the light source they're using. So that's something I am going to be focusing on in my reviews. This light seemed nice and strong. Cure time was low. I used Soraya Fast, and this is at 0.04 millimeters, and my cure time was 2.2 seconds. Normally, I think I could have gotten away with 2 seconds. I did 2.2 just because I'm a big, thick terrain piece with huge cross section. I wanted to make sure I didn't get lines and you know, just no chance of failing at all. And like I said, whew, this come out so nice. I'm really happy with this. The other thing that I think Epax has in their printers, and everyone knows I'm a little bit of an Epax fanboy because I just think their machines are constructed better and better planned out than other people. This printer itself is built so that you can swap in a 10-inch screen or 10.1 inch, I can't remember exactly, but you can swap in a slightly bigger screen into the same machine in the future, and they're working on a 5K screen. So I know that sounds odd to people. You think you go 2K, 4K, 8K. So I was also a little surprised 5K screen. But I think what it does by going up in size another inch and change, or maybe it's almost 2 inches, and increasing the resolution of the screen to 5K still allows you to maintain that effective 2K small screen resolution. So I think that always comes out between 0.45 and 0.50 microns for the resolution. So this machine is upgradable, and I think almost all the Epax machines are upgradable, which is something I don't think all the other manufacturers offer, not with the same ease that Epax does. So I'm still an Epax fanboy. Oh, by the way, they're not paying me to make this. They're not giving me anything. They did send me the printed review, but as you guys know, I say it all the time, I'll say it again, that does not buy my review. I don't care about giving me a free machine. I'll take it, I'll test it, but that's the end of it. I'm not giving a favorable review just because I got a machine. I don't care. So if you guys go out and buy this, I don't care. You don't buy it, I don't care. I'm just here to give you the information as best I can tell from my use. So, and in that, like comparison-wise, I don't have my Saturn yet. I don't have my large size any cubic yet, and I don't have any larger size from any of the competitors in the monoscreen. So this is my first 8.9 inch monoscreen, and I know I'm gonna have others very shortly, and I know they're all gonna have the same resolution. So the difference between these things to me is gonna be the light source. So the uniformity of the light coming up, so that you get less fails, because hot and cold spots can cause fails or the model's not coming out as good. So light source is important. Light strength is also important to me, because the fact that I'm finding that I have, I think now 4 different types of monoscreen printers, and they cure at slightly different speeds, not massively different, but tells me that the light's coming through stronger on some than on others. So I'll also be talking about that. This light source was definitely strong. Cure time was on the lower end for the monoscreen. I feel I could do 10 more test prints, wouldn't really tell me that much. The only other thing that would tell me more about a machine now, aside from doing a few initial prints, is how long it lasts. And that, unfortunately, I can't test for you guys in any reasonable time frame, obviously, and give you a conclusion. Epax, in my experience so far, has been one of the best built machines. So I'm hoping that this E10 continues that they do more solid construction, use better components. But only time will tell. We have to be honest about it. We don't really know. I'm liking what I see, and again, being honest, I'm sure if I printed this on the Saturn when it comes in, or any Cubics version when it comes, or anyone else's, they should all be about, print about the same in terms of resolution and what I get. So I'm probably gonna be this happy with all of them. But at $519, I think that's a very, very reasonable price. Again, I'm not sure if we know yet the final pricing on the other 8.9 inches. I'm hoping Epax will be competitive this time around, because I do like the company. Again, I'm still staring at this thing and I'm happy. You guys see me, like, I print out like thousands of things now, and it's still, I have to be honest, still like Christmas every day. Like when this came off the build plate, I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I'm really excited to be able to print my terrain bigger. Now, you guys know I have the Piopoli Phenom, and I did a huge dice tower on it, which was awesome also. But that, unfortunately, the resolution on that, even though it can do bigger stuff, which is amazing, the resolution is not as good as this, because that's still a 2K screen. So this 4K screen on the 8.9 inch size allows for really high resolution. So I don't want to babble too much more about it. We'll go right into the high res photos. So my review on this is, if you're someone who likes Epax products, so I guess brand loyalty is going to start cropping up now. Like Epax, I always think makes the best built machines and has incredible customer service. But Elegoo makes good machines, has good customer service from what I can see. I don't think I had to use their customer service. Frozen seems to have good customer service as well, and they make good machines. I've reviewed their machines very positively. And Anycubic's been a little more hit and miss lately in terms of how people feel about their customer service, I guess, and how they treat the community with the Photon and the Photon. So hopefully they'll get back in everyone's good graces. But I think we're in for an exciting time as all these machines come out and give us all these options. So would I recommend buying this or waiting for something else? If you like Epax at all, like I do, at $519, I can't imagine anyone else coming out with one much cheaper. And this is upgradable to the 10-inch size with 5K screen. So that's very intriguing to me, that you can get even bigger out of the same machine. That's pretty interesting. So other than that, I think for all these machines, it's going to come down for a lot of people. It's going to be price/availability depending on where you live. Because I know in certain countries, some machines can get there a lot cheaper, including shipping and whatever the taxes are, than others. So that's obviously going to factor in for people. But I would, without a doubt, say that this is a good machine. I would recommend this machine if the pricing and availability is good for you. You know, like the Saturn, like I said, should print the same as this basically, and so should the other machines. So it's going to come down to price availability. If you want the upgradable option that Epax makes their machines so that you can upgrade them in the future as the better tech comes out, then, you know, Epax is that's what they do. They make their machines upgradable, which I think is a very good thing. I'm pretty excited to, when they release it, I want to upgrade mine to the bigger screen with the higher resolution. You know, why not? It means I can print even bigger terrain on it. So just looking at this, I hope people who print terrain on their printers are excited by the prospect of doing them in gorgeous like this in resin. It's, you know, and I'm not plugging my Kickstarter, but these were in smaller chunks, so I could fit them on resin printers. And having it in resin versus FDM, it's just, I mean, it's really, really nice. So the fact that you can start to do big pieces in resin, to me, is very exciting. I know some people are going to complain it costs too much and whatever, but when you hollow a piece like this out, I don't think cost-wise, this is more than a few dollars, actually. It wasn't like half a bottle of resin or something like that. Far from it. I mean, I did 3mm walls, and most of it was able to be, you know, hollowed out. So this is mostly air. It's not like real heavy or anything. So, you know, the prospect of saying, well, if you print all your terrain in resin, it's really expensive. Some pieces might be more expensive than others, I guess, depending on how they're made and whether you can hollow them effectively. But this is like very hollow, and still, you know, it's still strong. I mean, you know, it's hollow, but it's 3mm thick walls. It's not going anywhere. So I'm thrilled with that. I love it. And also remember, you can print minis on this machine, and the other one's coming, at very high resolution, the same resolution you've been getting from all your old printers. You know, any 2K screen on a small printer, that's the same resolution you're getting off these new big screens because they're 4K. So you can print really, really nice minis on this as well. So that's it for the review. I would say if you like Epax, or if this price is competitive with the availability and whatever in your area, then this E10, or if you want to be able to upgrade, which may be important to some people, this printer will absolutely deliver. It's I'm still just admiring this piece. It's so good. So anyway, you know, that's it. This is the first 8.9-inch 4K screen I've tested. I do have a Saturn on the way, so of course I'll do a review of that when I get it. And I guess I'll probably print up the exact same piece, you know, just for comparison's sake. You know, apples to apples, at least when I do my review of that. But I definitely, I mean, looking at this, I don't think you can really go wrong with this machine. And 519 bucks, even though they went with the plastic cover, it's a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. Epax, you know, uses higher end components in general and costs more. So, you know, I was pleasantly, when I looked up the price and I saw 519 bucks, that's a very reasonable price. Other people might be cheaper. We'll see what the prices are. But that's it for now. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, please support my Patreon. Well, this machine was sent to me, but some of the machines I do go out and buy because they're not sent to me. So I use the money from my Patreon to buy machines to test and to buy resins to test for you guys. So that's what it's for. So anyway, that's it. Hope you liked it. Please like, please subscribe, please stay tuned. With all the new machines coming out, I'm going to have a bunch of reviews, and I'm also going to do something I've never done before on my channel, which is once I get all the machines in and test them, I am going to do kind of like a review roundup where I actually start to compare machines. Normally I don't do that. I just review each machine on its own merits, but I think I need to start comparing them so I can come up with like kind of like a best recommendation, you know. So look for that after I get a chance to review all the various machines. You know, a ton of machines are coming out in the next few months. So once all those come out and I've reviewed them all, I will do like a review roundup of everything. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and happy 3D printing. So I think it's always good to see something as it printed on the build plate, which you can see here. It gives you an idea of the size of the build plate. Then here, I guess the Warforged is playing King of the Hill. Look how pretty this piece looks though in resin. It's so nice compared to FDM. And let's take a look at it from another view. This is the back side of it. You can see there are slots to add other pieces, which I didn't print up yet. But you can just, again, see how nice this comes out in resin. Just really pretty piece. And then the last view is from the side. You got the human knight sneaking down the stairs. Again, just note like how nice the bracers come out and stuff like that. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed.